good Wednesday evening and a happy Thanksgiving to you and yours as well. I'm Chase Miller. Welcome to the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show as presented to you by the Hillsborough Economic Development Corporation. It's our final show for the month of November as we turn the page to December next week, and we got a little bit of everything. Some wrestling, some basketball, and also a football recap as well. We'll open up the program with the Thompson Tommies new wrestling varsity squad this season with Duane Norby, also talking Central Cass boys and girls wrestling with Travis Lemar as well. From there, Nathan Hoots and the Maple River girls basketball team, a squad that's coming off a state tournament appearance from a season ago. We preview the season with him, and we sit down with Jed Carlson of the Hawley Nuggets as well, as they're already into their 2024-25 campaign. From there, John Syverson of Mahnomen-Waubun girls basketball will join the conversation, as will Guy Finstrom from Climax-Fisher girls basketball as well. And we put a bow on the coaches show with our senior spotlight from Isaiah Wright from Fertile-Beltrami, as the Falcons are coming off a 9-player state championship. It's a great show for you as we turn the script again to December next week. But let's get to our conversation with our own James Martins alongside Duane Norby here from Thompson Wrestling.
On the Your Live Event Coaches Show here this week, we are chatting Thompson Wrestling, the first time ever that Thompson's got a boys wrestling program all on its own, and hope to see some great results this season. We've got the head coach joining us in Duane Norby. And Coach, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of your background and why you took this opportunity?
Well, yeah, I'm Duane Norby. I'm a local here to Thompson. I originally grew up in Western North Dakota, so I grew up in Watford City, wrestled there. I realized, after I was done wrestling, I went to college and I never did take up wrestling in college. I got here and we moved to Thompson, and it just seemed like there was a fit for a wrestling here. And talked to my wife about it, realized maybe I had something left in the tank. We've been kind of moving forward on getting wrestling into the high school, but there's been a group here that started probably, let's see, about 6 years ago. There's a group that started a youth program, and so that program was 2-3 kids traveling down to Hillsborough, joining their youth team, and then also we've had a couple of youth going into the Grand Forks Gladiators, wrestling through that, but we didn't have an opportunity to really bridge that gap between that youth program and the high school program. So we started to wedge our way in. And last year we had a junior high program that we were able to practice in Thompson, and this year the Thompson High School administration gave us the opportunity to have a varsity team. So here we are.
Of course, you talked about kind of the youth program, the having to go down to Hillsborough, kind of the gradual build-up. Yeah, I think maybe some people might think that this was just a nothing before and then turn into something. But speak a little more about kind of the efforts that people have gone through in order to make this a reality.
Oh yeah, I mean our current coaches. So along with myself, I've got Mark Kurz. He was one of those two original parents that was driving to Hillsborough, along with Eli Krebs. And so Eli he's going to have wrestlers in the Thompson program for the next 10 years probably. So you'll remember that name going through as we continue on with the program. We've got 6 to 8 volunteer parents that really were instrumental in the youth program. We realized early on that we were going to start a program in Thompson. It's going to have to be building a culture. Wrestling really is a culture. And no one knows what it is unless they've been in it and through it. So we've got those 7 key individuals and parent volunteers. We've got 2 wrestlers that went through the Thompson program and co-op, and they wrestled for Grand Forks Red River. We've got Gunnar Hannevold and Keaton. And we'll see Keaton at some of the wrestling tournaments. He's going to be a volunteer coach for the varsity program. So we're looking forward to his help too. But it's a program that's in development, and we've had to build it from the ground up. It doesn't just pivot around one person. the entire team that's working together to make the whole thing work.
Of course, it's pretty interesting to look at a first-year full-fledged program and think, where do we want to be? What do we want to see this year? What do we determine as a success or not a success? What are the expectations, goals? What are you telling the wrestlers and the rest of the community about what you hope to see from Thompson Wrestling this year?
Yeah, we're going to get out there. We're going to do everything we can to do our best. One of the key things, we're not going to win every match. Half of all the matches are won or lost. So we're going into every match, win or we learn. We're never going to lose. We're going to go into that. We're kind of following a similar program to what Northern Cass did a couple of years ago. They went in slowly. They hit the ground running with some junior high and JV tournaments. Started entering into some of the varsity matches after January, and I think they even ended up taking a few to state. We're seeing good success with that crew. So we're going to enter into some varsity matches. We're going to try to get as many duels as we can. The local teams in the area have been more than welcoming and getting us into their arrangements. So we've got a number of quads coming up. We've got, Larimore on the 5th. So we'll see at Larimore, we'll see Pembina County North and Mayville with Larimore. So it'll be a good jump into the varsity for us. As far as the lineup goes, we're gonna bring all our wrestlers, get them some good exhibition matches, and we'll fill most of the slots in the roster.
Give us a little more individual insight as to kind of who you have this year, age ranges and class ranges and experience levels and all that.
Yeah, well, we have kind of our core group. We've got 7 freshman wrestlers, and out of those 7, I've got 2 that are. One was a dual sport athlete last year, so he did Easton Castle. He did both basketball and wrestling, so he was a little limited on the wrestling practice side. So, he got into the last match of the year and lost that match in overtime. I kind of gave him the fire in the belly. So this year, he's all wrestling this year. Got a new wrestler, Rowdy Otto. He's going to come in with the hit the ground running at one of the lower weight. So our core group is going to be Colton Krebs, Jackson Tozer, Mason Bartles, Charlie Johnson, and Dominic Defoe. They're all in scattered weight groups. So we'll see kind of as we go through the lineup, we'll be able to see them come out and wrestle and show some of the experience that they're going to, even as freshmen. They're gonna come in, get some real world experience. They're gonna come in strong too, and they'll be supported by our two 8th graders, and then we've got 4 7th graders that may or may not enter the lineup. We'll see how they do here. Hudson Goldaddy, he came out pretty strong in the first JB junior high tournament. So we might try to squeeze him into the lineup where we can.
Of course, it's got to feel obviously a lot of pride for these kids to, of course, especially the ones that maybe wrestled in the other co-ops before. They had to put on other colored singlets. They had to wear other team names on the back. It's got to feel very prideful and very enjoyable to be able to wear the Thompson green and have that Tommy logo on the back of the singlet.
Oh yeah, you're not kidding, for sure. Yeah, last year Charlie Johnson and Colton Krebs, they took the opportunity to finish their junior high season by going and practicing Red River. Graciously, Coach Covington helped us out there and brought them in to let them practice the rest of the season when our junior high season ended at the end of January there. So both Charlie and Colton were able to go to the East District Conference for the Class A region, and they competed well. So they gain a lot of experience doing that. But I think more so they're super excited to wear the green and black. They're going to be sporting their new singlets. Everybody's looking forward to cheering on a full Thompson.
Duane, of course, a new program, lots of excitement around Thompson. Anything else you want to mention about Thompson Wrestling and anything else you want to promote about your program?
The key is the community. Last year we had just a community project to we're practicing the community. So we just had a little small community project, put a couple of water, just so we had, some access to water or whatever for practice. We had 8 companies come in and volunteer their time and labor to help us do that. So we got the fountain donated, everything. So we got a lot of community input. Um, the youth program, we've got 60 kids in our youth program. So, I mean, I think we're looking at 20 to 30 families that are coming up through the youth and into wrestling. They're constantly asking us how we're doing on the varsity team. We've got our key sponsors, the Thompson Men's Club, the American Legion Post. They're always hitting us up to try to see what they can do for us. We're always trying to find out what we can do for them. So I think they're helping us out more than we know from the backside, and then just getting those kids interested, getting them into the culture. As Coach Keaton would say, once you've caught wrestling, you don't lose it. It's something that keeps building. We're excited for the program, excited for everybody in the community to kind of see what we're all.
That's Duane Norby, the head coach of Thompson Tommy boys wrestling team. Lots of great excitement. I know we'll see him on the schedule at tournaments and duels down the stretch. But Duane, thanks for the time. Congratulations on this new endeavor, and best of luck to you and your team this season.
You bet. Yeah. Thank you.
Joining us now from the Central Cast Wrestling perspective here is Travis Lemar, as they, as well as a host of other teams, getting geared up to get back on the mat here this season in 2024 and 2025. And Travis, before we talk about this year's club and some of the returning wrestlers, let's just kind of put a bow on last season. For the girls, not so much difference in terms of how everything has evolved year to year, kind of getting similar and being used to accustomed with the boys in terms of the postseason and getting to state and seeing how that all worked out. But from the boys' perspective, it was a little different last year wrestling in the EDC. So let's start with the boys just because there was some newness there. What'd you kind of see wrestling in Class A and just kind of how that meshed throughout the calendar year here last year, Travis?
Yeah, we felt like we had a pretty solid team last year. And with the move of our school transitioning to Class A, I felt like it was probably the right time for our kids on the wrestling side, especially on the boys' side, to make that move up. Twofold, like one was we knew the transition was happening, so it was just a matter of trying to make it happen. And then two was I knew we had a team that could compete with the majority of the teams in Class A. So it was really kind of setting the table for the teams that come to show that we can compete and we can achieve the same kind of goals that we were achieving in Class B. As far as competition wise, everybody keeps asking me, like, what's the big difference between Class A, Class B? Really, there's not as much as what people would think. Class A is probably a little deeper when you get into the weight classes, like 5, 6, 7, 8 at state than what Class B can be. But both Class B and Class A have their dudes, right? Like every weight class is going to have a guy or another 2 or 3 that are just upper echelon, just that tier above everybody else. I think that's probably the biggest difference. The only other thing I would say is like when you get into like the dual format with teams, you take a Biz High, in a Cheyenne last year, they really didn't have any holes in their lineups, where even with, a Lisbon or a South Border, you can usually find a hole or 2 in their lineup where you can get some wins. And with the other squads, when they were healthy, they were as good as advertised, and really tough to find a win against them when you squared off against them.
I know on the boys' side too, Travis, it was different because you have individuals, but there was no dual tournament like you have in Class B to get to state. So how does that make the regular season just more valuable? Obviously, you as coaches, you know some of the wrestlers, you know coaches, but you're not there every year that were in your region in Class B. So how much were you just learning on what those wrestlers and kind of how coaches might, put a lineup together on night in and night out?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was probably the biggest thing, is just kind of seeing like what coaches were set with, like, this is my lineup. These are 13 I'm rolling out. What coaches were willing to bump and stuff like that. Trying to figure that piece out. But really just getting our kids bought in on the fact that there is no redo, right? There's no region duels where, hey, we have an off night against this team, we get to come back. I wish we did. Like, I truly love the region duel tournament. It's one of my favorite events of the year. And allows teams that maybe peak towards the end to be rewarded with a chance to go to state that maybe didn't have kids at the right weight class at the beginning or something like that. But really just getting our kids to understand that every dual night you have to bring it. There's no off nights because of that. Which honestly, it made our duels pretty, I would say, more exciting, right? Because you knew you had to get the W that night if you wanted to remain in the top four and participate at the state duels. So that was definitely, a learning curve for us, and something that I felt we adapted to really well. You could see our boys really step up in those duels that we had to have in order to get to state. So something that we're looking forward to again this year. Just gonna be a little tougher. So.
And I know it had to be really rewarding that first year getting as a team into duels that first year, going from B going to A, and obviously just taking a look back at the information that you kind of gave us, a couple weeks ago, just for, the wrestlers coming back, and there's a good chunk of the senior class, that's back. Obviously, I remember a couple of people a couple of years ago talking about Grady Link as an underclassman, making the wrestling move to get the team to state. That was everyone's, favorite, or one of the favorite wrestling moments. But let's just start there before we talk with Mitchell, Derek. Let's just start with Grady and the senior class. Just kind of what does this senior class provide this year to this wrestling team here, Travis?
Yeah, it's a unique group, with the fact that some of them are either in their first or second year of wrestling varsity, where last year's crew, with like Cade and BP and Peyton and Stone and those guys, like, they'd wrestled varsity for 4 or 5 years. So these guys they're chomping at the bit for their opportunity and their chance to kind of leave their legacy. Grady is a kid that we're really looking to this year to kind of lead the pack, if you will. Was a match away from placing last year on the individual side. Thought he had a real legit chance to get there, to get on the podium, and really feel like he's going to be that guy that's going to get there this year. Been working hard and doing all those kind of things. And yeah, I mean, I think, that moment up in Mayville where he got the cradle and it went back and forth and fought off his back and stuff like that is always going to be a memory that he's going to have, and we're going to have as fans and coaches and spectators of the sport. But I think he wants to add to it. I really do. And I think he has all the ability in the world to make sure that he adds to it and gets that individual piece of climbing on that podium and being one of the top 8 and getting his name on the wall. Like, he has all the ability to do it this year. Now, I mean, we got to stay healthy and continue to improve and work at it, but he's definitely there. He's definitely ready to take that next step and be that leader of this program this year.
Let's talk about some of the other kids here. Let's start with Derek first before we talk about Mitchell. Just kind of what do you want to see from Derek here on the individual, but also the team perspective this season here, Travis?
Yeah, Derek on the individual side, he put a ton of work in this offseason. I mean, he went and wrestled all the USA stuff, wrestled with Team North Dakota in a couple of the dual tournaments this summer. Really spent his time focusing on wrestling. His goal is to be on the podium. First rankings came out. He's number 3. Now, granted, we understand it's early season rankings. Who knows where that's going to shake out come the end of the year, but his name's in the mix. And I think for these early polls, it's just having your name in the mix and being respected by other coaches and understanding that, hey, I can do this. I can be one of those guys is huge. And he's, like I said, he's put the time in. This is what he wants. You see a different Derek in the room right now. And you see it with his partner, with John Call. John Call's another one that is really focused on wrestling and really wants to get his name out there and have success. And those two have picked up their drill pace in the room. They're no longer the smaller kids in their weight class. They're finally growing into their weight classes. Um, and I think just that belief of knowing like, hey, okay, I'm not giving up 15 pounds here. Like I can compete with these guys because I'm the same size as them. And having that confidence stepping on the mat, knowing that you got a chance to win every time you get out there is going to be huge for them. And their wrestling skill is there. I mean, they have the skill. It's just a matter of putting it together on the mat every time we have a competition. But looking for those two to really pick up, a lot of the points that we lost with some of the kids that graduated and help us climb that podium a little bit higher this year.
Yeah, and final person just to bring up on the boys side before we talk girls here is Mitchell Melander. Just kind of what do you want to see from him particularly as you get into the season here, Travis?
Yeah, Mitchell's, he's a great kid. He's kind of bought his time sitting behind guys like Dylan Sell and Garrett Haugen and stuff like that. Last year was his first full year of varsity for us. Really had a good year. He's looking to make it a great year this year, his senior year. He's been working really hard in the room. Thankfully, he's got a lot of heavy coaches like myself, Zach and Cade to work with on a daily basis. And it's showing like his skill level from last year, the start of the year to this year, start of the year, completely different. He's looking to slot in at that 215 for us. And he's going to win some big matches for us. There's no doubt in my mind. He's going to be a swing match that we're going to be counting on in a lot of our duels to try and get team wins. And I'm looking forward to that, for him because of the time and the effort he's put in, like looking forward to a great senior year for him and something that can show the other kids like, hey, you might only get one or two cracks at this, but make the most out of it, learn while you can while you're JV. And then when it's your time to shine, get out there and do it. So yeah, really looking forward to this group of kids and the amount of work that we've already put in and what we have in front of us.
And then on the girls' side, it's been fun to see over the last handful of years, right? You go into by yourself at Fargo Davies for state into, okay, now you have individuals, now you have duels, as a regional to get to state. It's not just the top 8 make it, Travis. So I guess from the girls' perspective, you talk about what was different from the boys. From the girls' perspective, is this about as close to normalcy in a schedule where it feels like we did this last year, we know what we're getting again this year in girls wrestling?
Yeah, I think it's the first time we haven't had an addition of something, right? A region duels or a region qualifier and things of that nature. So, really the only addition is the unlimited. There's no more unlimited weight class, right? Like we don't get to enter all 25 of our girls come region time, which like it sucks, but at the same time, it's what's good for the growth of girls wrestling, right? It helps smaller schools be more competitive and things like that. But yeah, it's going to be the most normal that we've had. And our girls are hungry, right? Like we felt like we underperformed last year at state. And that's saying something considering we were 4th in individuals and 4th in duels. And the only teams in front of us were 2 Bismarck schools and a Minot school, which are much larger than us. But we still we feel we belong at the top. We feel like we belong in the same conversation as a Bismarck High. And now we got work to do to get there. There's no doubt about it, but that's where we want to be. We want to be in that final duel, that state championship duel. And on Friday night, when they're crowning the team champion, we want to be in that mix. We want to be right there battling for a crown. So, our girls have done a great job promoting the sport of wrestling, not only here at Central Cass, but statewide. And, it'd be awesome for us to, especially with this large group of seniors, to be able to send them out as champions one last time.
Yeah, I remember talking with a handful of wrestlers last couple of years saying, we went to the statistician and said you should wrestle, whether they were doing boys or girls wrestling. And the next year they come out and you just add the growth to the sport a little bit, or, recruiting the hallways, getting other girls that maybe aren't playing basketball or in some type of winter sport. And we kind of go from that, Travis. And here's one question that I get asked, I think enough of just from fans or people wondering about the sport before we talk about the individuals. Is it's going to have its own weekend? Will there be a Class A, Class B in girls wrestling? Where do you see the trajectory, I guess, moving forward here on the girls wrestling mat, Travis?
I mean, I think there's a lot of push to try and split it, Class A, Class B. I just don't know if there's if there's enough within the next 10 years on the B side for them to support it by themselves. They have some great individual wrestlers. There's no doubt about it. Like every program's got a stud coming out and things like that. But it's when you start talking bracket wide, right? Like, can you fill a 16 person bracket? Are you putting 8 quality people on the podium and stuff? And I just don't know if we're going to see that in the near future. I like to think that the growth of girls wrestling is going to continue and going to continue to populate that way. So I'm hopeful. Will it be on a separate weekend? Honestly, I hope not. And the only reason I say that is not to take anything away from the girls or the guys, but when you get to step into the Fargo Dome and you get to watch Class B boys, you get to watch Class A boys, and you get to watch the girls wrestle, like you're guaranteed excitement on one of those 8 or 12 mats, whatever they're running at that time. It's good for the sport, right? And, when we were talking about adding girls wrestling quite a few years ago, as a statewide deal, I said, it's going to be good for just the growth of wrestling in general. You take a girl that wrestles and has a good experience with it, and she's got a little brother, you're more apt to grab that kid and he joins your boys program now, right? I just think it's, number one, I think it's good for the sport. Number two, like if you're doing it right, girls are leaving your program more confident, more secure in who they are, like all that kind of stuff. It's, I said it in my parent email on Sunday. There's no sport that we offer that can give you what wrestling gives you as an individual with, relying on yourself, right? Perseverance, grit, determination, like all the catchphrases that are out there, right? Like wrestling gives that to you. It teaches you hard work. And those are things that no matter what you do in your profession, and you show up and you work hard every day and you have a good attitude about it, you're going to be successful. It's just, it's going to happen for you. And like I said, I know other coaches will argue with me, and they sure can. Like I'm always open to argument and debate. But this sport is unlike any other. And what you learn from it and what you get out of it can take you places that you probably never dreamed of before joining.
And we go now to the girls' side. Similar question to start with. You got a good senior class coming back here, Travis, and I know we talked about a couple of them before we even got on air with Mallory DeVries, Lois Schneider, Ava Gollefson, just to name a couple right there. What do you want to see from this senior class? Similar question to the boys. What does this senior class, provide coming into this season here for on the girls' side?
I think number one is leadership, right? Like the girls we have in our senior group, great kids, great humans, and just willing to work hard. Like Mallory, one of the top cross country runners in the state, right? Like the way she trains is unbelievable. Okay. She's been so close the last couple of years to making that finals match. Last year dropped one in early in the tournament and came all the way back and got third. The year before made semis, lost a heartbreaker in the semis, but like she's right there and just ready to take that next step. And I truly believe if the year goes the way that we think it will with her, she'll be in the finals. Whatever weight class she decides to finish at, she has all the ability to be there. Lois, she loves wrestling as much as anybody, if not more. It's really been her driving force, right? She did basic this summer, joined the guard, came back way stronger, way more mentally, adapted to the sport of wrestling. I mean, what they teach you in the guard is similar to what you're getting on the mat, right? So looking for her to really take that next step. She climbed higher on the podium last year. We expect her to climb even higher this year. Ava, she, as a sophomore going in, she had pretty high hopes. Didn't go very well for her. Last year as a junior, same thing, battled back, came all the way back, ended up third, had a great showing, which led to, high confidence coming into her senior year. The way she's working in the room is great. Katie Sinner came back and is going to school now in Moorhead after her time out at BSC. So she's in the room wrestling with Ava almost daily, which, I mean, you take a two-time state champ with Katie Sinner and you put her with Ava Gullison, like good things are going to happen, right? So our senior class is great. I mean, take a Cheyenne Helen, who's been a multiple state place winner for us. Aubrey Quinn, who's new to the sport, but has picked it up super fast. Just, I mean, the list just goes on and on. Like I said, it's a great senior group, which is why I feel like we have a chance to battle with Biz High. And they're great. Like, I'm not taking anything away from Biz High, Minot High, Legacy. They're all great programs. They all have great coaches and great kids in their program, but like, I'm super confident in this group of kids and that they're going to be there at the end when we need them to be. So,
And final person just to bring up here, Travis, Anna White, obviously, the way she's been able to win a state championship the last couple of years, that embrace with her coaches afterwards. And I've always kind of said it when I've covered hers, particularly, she's not someone in the back alley I would want to, kind of kick on, because she would come at you immediately and she knows
Yep.
how to do it and everything else. And that's a compliment to her in terms of the ability of where she knows at times it feels like chess versus checkers, so to speak, on the mat, and how she's wanting to set up certain moves. So what does kind of someone like an Anna White, even though she's not a senior, but been in the program, seen already 100 career wins and vaulting, in her young career, what does she kind of provide to the Squirrels this season?
Yeah. I mean, 3 years of varsity, right? As a seventh grader, she's in the state finals against Jenna Gerhardt, who's an absolute beast, right? Didn't go real well for us, but we kind of expected that, right? Jenna's a senior and was in a class of her own that year. To follow that up and to win 2 state titles. And, she's going for number 3 as a sophomore. She'd be the first one in the history of Central Cass to win 3 state titles. And she hasn't quit wrestling. Like from the minute we were done at the state tournament last year, she continued on, got into the freestyle and Greco circuit, wrestled at Fargo, like all those kind of things. Like, wrestling is her life. She loves it. And if it was up to her, she'd wrestle 12 months out of the year. Trying to get her to take a break is probably the hardest thing, right? Most people are trying to get kids to do the extra and stuff like that. We're trying to get her to take a break so she's still hungry for it come February. But the way she leads, just the person that she is, we're sitting there in a mat and like there are people behind me cheering for her that are from other teams, coaches, athletes, like everything. And, the ability she's had to reach out to other people and just, make them feel connected and stuff like that, whether it's after a win or after a loss. Like, she's always giving her opponent a hug, telling them good job, things like that. It's unreal. But yeah, I mean, we expect big things from her this year too. And, she's always trying to learn. Like, you think about that. She's a 3-time finalist, 2-time champ. And her goal is to continue to get better, continue to learn. Like, she's staying afterwards and working on footwork stuff with coaches. Just asking different questions about how to hit this move. How can I hit this move if my opponent is like this? One of the best wrestlers, if not the best wrestler to come out of North Dakota, is Jordan Shear, right? And I would watch Jordan after matches taking notes on his opponents and stuff like that. No matter if he pinned them in the first 30 seconds or it was a 3-point match, right? And I equate her mental capacity to how Jordan treated each match as a learning experience. She's always trying to learn, always trying to figure out other ways to attack her opponents and to make sure that she's not a one-dimensional wrestler. And she's the kind of kid that you just want kids to emulate, and not only just in success, just as a human being. Can't speak highly enough about her. She's just flipping awesome. Just put it out there.
It's going to be a lot of fun to see once everyone gets to the mat again this year. We'll have all the home matches on yourliveevent.com, Bell of the Brawl, Letterman's as well. Travis, as always, thank you so much for your time, and looking forward to seeing you, whether it's at basketball, wrestling, or something in between again here once we get to the arenas this coming winter.
Yeah, we'll be there. You know it. So thanks for all the coverage, Chase. Like, we really appreciate your live event and everything they do, not only for our school, but all the local schools around us. It's awesome. These kids deserve to be recognized. You guys do a great job at it. So thank you.
That again, Travis Lemar with Central Cass Wrestling will continue on the yourliveevent.com coaches show after this. Perfect. No.
Treat yourself to a great career at American Crystal Sugar Company. Team up with quality people making quality products. Full-time and year-round in a stable business. With great pay and benefits including time off available from day one. American Crystal Sugar Company invests in you to promote your continued growth and career advancement. Grow your career doing your best work within the world's best beet sugar company. Apply online today at americancrystalcareers.com.
Don't be fooled by that beat-up old cap. Its faded crown represents the tireless work of America's farmers and ranchers. Its sturdy brim, their dedication to providing our nation with a safe, affordable food source. So we'd like to tip our hat to them. Farmers Union Insurance, protecting those that protect America's food source.
Visit with Ryan Opdahl, your local Farmers Union Insurance agent in Hillsborough.
Growers, prepare your fields and yields against the wet conditions for 2025 and beyond with a drain tile project from Chad's Excavating out of Mayville. Drain tiling will improve and increase your yields and land values for years to come. Chad's Excavating provides free, detailed estimates, and with over 40 years of combined success, they provide professional installation and service. Call Chad today to prepare for your future and any questions that you might have. That's Chad's Excavating out of Mayville, helping farmers grow.
Joining us now from Maple River, the girls basketball head coach, that is Nathan Hoots. Crazy to think, just over a week from now, they'll have their opening tip of the season and their first home game as well, hosting Fargo Oak Grove from the Raider Activity Center. And Nathan, let's just start here, just kind of recapping what was last year. A really good season, over 20 wins, able to make it to a state tournament. Before we talk about this year's team, just take us through the recap of the first year of having 3 divisions, having a state qualifier, which anybody remembers, that was a furious flurry from you guys to win against the Cardinals of Langdon area, Edmore, Munich at the time, with Edmore being in that co-op. But what do you just kind of remember from last year that you hope to kind of take with the club for the returning players this year?
I think it would be a sense of motivation throughout the entire year of, if we have one good week in maybe a 10-day good stretch of basketball in February, we have a realistic opportunity to achieve our goal of making it to the state tournament. Where in years past, you'd kind of almost have in a school our size, you'd have to have the team of the century to make it to the state tournament, with the big Class A schools in our region. So just knowing that, hey, continue our process throughout the year, work as hard as we can, try to get better every single day, and then, hope for some things to go our way come February. And you know what? After districts and regionals, a couple things went our way when we went up to Mayville and played Langdon in that state qualifier game.
How fun was it to have districts again? How fun was it to get to a regional, to where, a third place game as a coach going into the regional? Hey, that game's not an exhibition game anymore. If you do play in that game, that has a chance to carry your season. So how did that kind of factor going from the districts to regionals, then finally playing the state qualifier and state? Because you did it all, Hoots, last year.
Yeah, we played the maximum 29 games last year. No one got to play more games than we did last year. We kind of stretched things out. It would have been nice not to have to play in that qualifier game, but district tournament, to have that back and just to, sit in the stands and be able to watch every other team and kind of have that atmosphere of a district tournament was a lot of fun. And then going into regionals, just that we hadn't got to feel that yet. Every year that we've played in that first round of regionals, we've either been a significant underdog as probably an 8 seed or a 9 seed playing the 1, or been dealing with some type of a significant injury going in and just going, we're going to have a lot of things go our way for us to be competitive. And for us to kind of feel that stress for a week from the district tournament to the region tournament, to play a really good team in Linton, who's going to be tremendous once again this year. And to have that, third quarter, we're down by 10 or 12. We're going to have to scratch and claw just to make it to the region semifinals as a team that was, 20 and whatever at the time. That was frustrating, but the excitement level that it brought to our girls and to our community to then play in that semifinal game, and then to be able to talk to different coaches around that third place game and regional tournament, it had that do or die feel, which it obviously was, but it almost for a little bit felt more important than that region championship game, because everybody knew in that region championship game, it's like, yes, of course you want to win regionals and have those extra couple of days off. But to have that, elimination game in that third place game really brought up the energy, especially in the Jamestown Civic. It brought up the energy because we had 4 towns that were traveling four teams that were traveling to that region final night, and it was really full in there for a region tournament. It was super exciting to have that, and then leading into that state qualifier game it was a stressful and fun 3 weeks of basketball.
Well, thing for me, Hoots, before we start talking about your team a little bit here, just you mentioned Lit and HMB. So who are going to be some other teams early on the season? Obviously, as the year progresses, everything up and down with valleys or different challenges throughout the course of, a couple months of a basketball season here, Hoots. But whether it's in your region, whether it's, in your backyard or someone across the state, who are some other teams you say, hey, if you're a basketball fan, you can, get out and watch the game in person. Who would be some teams that you think would be fun to watch on the court? Not so much coach against from your perspective, but have an opportunity to make some noise this year in Division B.
Yeah, I'll start with Sargent County. They're a tremendous team. They're really well coached. Their scheme that they run has caused us problems for years. And then with Bixby and Cadoon, they cause problems defensively, offensively. They're so unselfish. With the size that they have, they're going to cause problems for teams, not in our district, not just our region, but certainly in the state. Wyndmere Lidgewood, I think, is going to be really, really improved. They made some tremendous strides throughout the year last year, gave us everything we wanted in that district semifinal game last year. And I don't want to see them whatsoever when it comes to a postseason tournament game this year. Avoid them like the plague. And then just moving on, into our region, like I said, Linton's going to be good. Lemore's not going to have a really deep team. Just getting to talk to Coach Delabar during football. He said we're probably only have 10, 12 girls, but man, they're talented. The top 5, 6 girls they have, they're so big and strong and physical. We played Linton in that region qualifier game. Their ability to shoot the three and just kind of live and die by that. Their athleticism from top to bottom, 1 through 5, was something that we didn't see a ton of last year. It caught us off guard for 3.5 quarters last year, until thankfully our ability to adjust with the girls we had on the floor. Moving on, Langdon just won a state championship in volleyball. We're going to play in a scrimmage this coming in a couple days here in Underwood. We're going to see Central McLean. We're going to see Kenmare, and we're going to see Benson County. That's a possibility of 3 teams that could be in the state tournament. Just the teams that played last year. Mayville graduated a lot of players. Edgeley Culm graduated a really good couple of seniors. But they're going to bring back a really good team. There's so many good teams in Class B this year. It's going to be a ton of fun every single night. If you're going to go out and watch any game that you want or log into your live event, you're going to see a lot of really good basketball teams this year.
And the nice thing, obviously, from your perspective here, the Raiders had a really good volleyball season. You bring back a good core to this year's team. Obviously, someone that jumps off the page to me that's gone is just Kiana Learood without some of the other seniors, that you have to replace every year. So who are just going to be some playmakers from day number 1 here, Hoots, from practices and into those first couple of games as you get into the Barnes County tournament? Who will be some players that you will rely on this year to try to carry the club into what you had last year, which was expectations and a team that wants to get back to that state tournament?
Yeah, my hope is it's going to be similar to last year. We have a really balanced attack. We had like 7 girls that averaged 4 or 5 points or more last year. That helped us a ton. If one girl was off, we just knew that, hey, it was next girl up, and we're going to do the best we possibly can to spread the wealth. We averaged a ton of assists, which was kind of the key to us. We played really unselfish basketball, kind of to our detriment at sometimes. And we've had to talk about that so far this year in practice is, hey, it's almost my fault. I applaud us so much when we make the extra pass and then we get the easy bucket because we are willing to dish it. But other times we pass up shots we probably shouldn't. Violet Richmond jumps off the page athletically. Her skill level as just a freshman it's absolutely tremendous. I've said it in the past when we've had interviews and talking off camera. She does something every single day in practice that just kind of makes me stop and just go, wow. Just the basic little stuff. When we're going through fundamentals, she doesn't take a rep off. And you can really tell that she's been in the gym just constantly since last year. And I think, I don't want to say she struggled last year because the other defenses that we played, they put so much pressure on her and so much focus on her that she wasn't able to perform like she did. I think that's really motivated her in the last 9 months to just really improve and take her game to the next level. The combination inside of Addison Hanig and Brielle Kaloran was just excellent for us. Not just offensively where they worked together so well and gave each other easy baskets, but defensively, they do a really good job of protecting the hoop. Just doing a good job of playing help side defense and blocking shots from the weak side, or at least altering shots and defensive rebounding. They've done a really nice job for us. And I got a couple other girls, Abigail Kaloran, Carly Hovelson, Claire Irie. They've stepped up really, really well here in the first week plus of practice. I'm excited just kind of see, the development that they have. Abigail stepped up for us big time in the state tournament last year, kind of came out of nowhere from scoring 2 points a game and all of a sudden had 2 games in double digits at the state tournament. I'm really hoping that continues to progress from that level. We got a lot of girls that I'm excited about, and it's going to continue to go down. A lot of younger girls that get a lot of practice against these older girls and more veteran girls in practice. And a lot of those reps are going to pay off coming, toward January, February.
I always talk to coaches, and Hoots, I'll say, what's a trait or characteristic about your team as this season progresses? What's something when fans watch on your live event, they see you in person throughout the course of the year, whether it's only one game in December or maybe a game in January? What's something that win, lose, or draw that you want fans to take away from seeing your team on the court this season here, Hoots?
I hope it's up and down, a lot of fast pace. When you watch us, I hope you enjoy the brand of basketball we play. I hope it's that unselfish. Hey, it doesn't matter. Violet might score 25 points one night, and then the next night she's scoring 10 points and dishing out 7, 8 assists. It's the, hey, they look to pass up good to get great. And we're getting high quality shots every possession. And then hopefully they walk away saying, you know what, maybe the shots weren't going down, but they brought the defensive pressure every single night. The defensive intensity, I've told the girls, you know what, your offense may not travel, but your defense has to, and it will. And no matter what the backdrop is, your defense has to come. And I really hope that the teams that play us, they know that, they're going to have to really take care of the basketball if they're going to want to succeed against us, and they're going to have to knock down shots if they're going to have success. So I'm looking forward to a fun brand of basketball for the Raiders this year.
Final thing for me, Hoots, just because you do have the Raider Dome into now the RAC, the Raider Activity Center, just what was it like from the very first match in there from volleyball season? How fun was it to have your first, actual practice in there for, girls hoops? And just talk us what the atmosphere is going to be if someone wasn't able to get out there in the fall. What can they expect once they come and check out the new digs there in Tower City for either boys or girls Raider basketball this winter?
Well, first of all, it's climate controlled. So you can come in, you can wear whatever you want. You don't have to dress in just a t-shirt and shorts in the middle of January to be comfortable in there. So that's a positive. You can wear whatever Raider gear you got. But just the space, being able to plan practices out, knowing that we got a couple extra hoops and a lot more space. The girls love it because our sprints are significantly longer during practice. But I think just the people walk in, just being able to see the look on their face when they see the brand new gym. We do that whenever we go somewhere nice. It's, wow, this is impressive. I like how they did this, that, and the other thing. I hope they come in and they're able to enjoy it and see that we've put a lot of thought from the school board all the way down through the teachers having input into what we wanted in this gym. And hopefully people are impressed and that Maple River community members are proud of what we have here.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to see. Again, the Grovers come into town, an old Region 1 rival, Division A, obviously a really good club that'll be a week from Thursday for Maple River girls basketball here for their home opener on yourliveevent.com. As always, Hoots, thanks so much for your time and best of luck here and enjoy Thanksgiving week.
Yeah, you as well, Chase. Thanks for having me.
Live, work, and play here in Hillsboro, North Dakota. The Hillsboro Economic Development Committee can assist you with information and support for business and housing. Experience Hillsboro. More at 104.
We continue with the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show, brought to you by the Hillsboro Economic Development Corporation. I'm Joe Lancello, speaking with Jed Carlson, the coach of the Hawley Nuggets girls basketball team. The Nuggets winning their opener on Saturday against Staples Motley, but then on Tuesday night losing at Barnesville. Jed, talk about those two games.
Well, the first one, the Staples game, it was a game where we got to get out and scout, and we kind of knew what was coming from Staples. They're a team that likes to run. We're a team that likes to run, and we kind of like that matchup, and we tried to make that one a track meet. And we didn't shoot the ball particularly well that game. I think we were 4 of 24 from three and 35% from the field, but we forced 41 turnovers. So we got a lot of extra possessions. And, for a home opener, I thought we played with good energy. We were a little bit shorthanded. Our starting lineup was a little wonky, and we had another key player out with injury. So all things considered, with the first one, we were happy to get out of there with a comfortable victory and start the Heart of Lakes off right. And then last night down in Barnesville, we got a little taste of humble pie. It was a situation where we were playing. It was 19-18 Hawley at the 8:02 mark. and our point guard picked up her third foul, and we were just unable to do the things that we needed to do after that. We only scored 2 points the last 8 minutes of the first half. They finished the half on a 17-2 run, and that was just too big a deficit. And then we were kind of playing out of desperation at that point, and it wasn't good for us, and it kind of went downhill. So tough one.
Over the couple of games, I noticed that Ingrid Rusted did not start on Saturday. And you had Katie Vetter starting at point guard, and she's not normally a point guard, as you said, but they say fake it till you make it, and she did a good job of faking it, I thought.
Yeah, Joe, one of the things, we lost Izzy Steer,
right.
One of the better players in the Heart of Lakes, and if not the top player in the Heart of Lakes, and she did a lot of ball handling for us. Ingrid is our point guard, make no mistake. It was just a situation where she had been gone a lot, and just a situation where she'd only had two, 3 practices in, and we weren't comfortable with her going, right away. So we wanted her to sit and feel it and that kind of thing. But we're going to go as Ingrid goes. She's our floor captain now. She does so many good things for us, and it was evidence last night by what we looked like when she got in foul trouble. So we're going to need her. And Katie, we asked Katie to do a lot. We put Katie on the other team's best offensive player and to get after it. So for last night, that was Abby John, and she did a really good job. And then we're just asking her to kind of do some point guard too. So when Ingrid's out, it's kind of point guard by committee, and Katie usually gets first crack at that.
How were you at forcing turnovers last night compared to, because you mentioned earlier the 41 you forced against Sable's Motley?
Yeah. Well, last night we only forced 10 and we committed 22, so we were minus 12. We talk about TRF all the time, and that's just turnovers, rebounds, and free throws. And the Staples game, we won that by a large margin. And when you're positive in that stat category, you're going to win most of your games. And last night we were minus 25. So we lost the turnover battle, we lost the rebounding battle, and free throws made. So we got to do those things to be successful. We tweaked, what we were trying to do a little bit to keep the ball out of the hands of Abby John. So we knew it wasn't going to be force as many turnovers. We kind of wanted to keep it out of their best players' hands and see if we could disrupt that way. And we were successful in that in a few different ways, but just not for the long haul of the game.
What do you see as what the strong points of the Nuggets are or will be as the year goes on?
Well, I think we're a team that can get out and run and use our athleticism. So transition offense right now is one of our strengths. We are not shooting the ball well right now. We were 3 of 24 last night, I think, from 3, something like that, or 3 of 26. And the game that you saw, we were 4 of 24. So we're just not shooting it well yet. And there's all kinds of excuses, Joe. We have had all of our, our full team in practice, I think, one time this year, between volleyball and rest and injuries and absences. But nobody cares about excuses, whether that's basketball or life, and you got to find ways to get it done. So we got to shoot the ball better. I know we will. We're confident in the kids and the character in that locker room. And, that's one of the things that we'll be working on. But transition offense right now, we're playing pretty good defense in the half court. We just got to continue to make sure we're checking out and rebounding, and then so we can get out and run.
And you've got quite a few girls, as you mentioned. We're busy with Hawley's winning the state Class AA volleyball championship a couple of weeks ago, so they're just not quite in the basketball swing or hadn't been.
Sure.
Still working on that.
Yeah, for sure. And, that's a good problem to have when you have players missing or needing a few days off because they just won a state championship. Any negatives that come with that are outweighed by the positives of competing at a high level in another sport. And we're so happy for those kids, and Coach Rusted and her staff should be commended. They just did a great job. Izzy Steer was a key part of that volleyball team too. And the kids, they lost her and they overcame, and they did some really special things. So, the thing that we're kind of telling the girls is it's right now, we've thrown a lot at them, right? It's a new program. It's a new coaching staff. And honestly, with the injury, it's a new role for a lot of players. So with that being said, I do feel strongly, Joe, that we're going to be a team that continues to get better and builds. And no one really cares how good you are in November. We got to keep making sure we attack each day in practice and each game, and just chip away at it and just keep getting better. And, I don't think there's any secret that Barnesville is one of the top teams in our section, if not the best team in our section. And, now we know what the standard is and what we got to do and approach each day trying to get better.
What's the Nuggets schedule look like after Thanksgiving?
We come back on Tuesday, December 3rd with a home game against Perm. They've been a power in this section for a long time. So Coach Super does a great job down there. That's Tuesday, December 3rd. And then Friday, the 6th, we're at DGF in one of those new Heart of Lakes boys, girls doubleheaders. I'm excited for those just to get all basically the entire basketball community from both towns in the gym at the same time. There's going to be good energy there.
Yeah, those are great.
Yeah.
But I know from past experience with other doubleheaders.
Yeah. And I think Ada, December 10th. So Tuesday, December 10th. Those are our next 3.
Okay, a pretty good schedule, and we'll see how the Hawley Nuggets girls do from there. Jed Carlson, thanks very much for the time today.
Hey, we appreciate you. Thank you, Joe.
And we'll continue with the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show, brought to you by the Hillsborough Economic Development Corporation, right after this.
The head coach of the Mahnomen-Waubun Thunderbirds, John Syverson, joining us here following the victory 75-41 over Climax-Fisher tonight. John, we talked about putting things together, and boy, tonight it started with the defense, I thought, and boy, your girls played a great game. Your thoughts after this one?
Yeah, I agree. I thought we started out pretty well. We were focused right away, fundamentally sound. I thought on both ends of the floor, our press kind of got to them a little bit, and that kind of woke us up a little bit, I think, right away too. Our girls enjoy doing that, and it looked pretty good for the most part tonight.
And offensively, your girls were really aggressive to the basket, to the hoop tonight. Yep. Some good drives, and then also finding that open girl underneath, that extra little dish. It was a solid offensive night.
It was. We shared the ball really well tonight. In the second half, I thought we were a little bit more under control when we would drive into the lane. I saw a lot of jump stops, in that mid-range area. When the girls are sharing the ball and having fun, they're a good team. They'll be tough to beat.
And we talked about it in the pregame show, is finding that consistency tonight. And I thought tonight was a really solid step in the right direction. I think just that little confidence we talked about, this was one of those nights.
Yeah, and Climax-Fisher, they're a good athletic team. They've got a lot of good athletes out there. Like we talked about earlier, they were coming off of a win and felt pretty good about things. And I just thought our girls brought forth a lot of energy, a lot of heart tonight. And like we talked about, those are the things that you really it's hard to coach. And it's kind of up to them to bring that. And the little things that we saw tonight, and in the previous couple games, those are things that we can easily fix throughout the season. But that heart and energy is something that they got to bring every night. And tonight they definitely brought it.
And it was everybody. I mean, everybody that stepped on the floor contributed tonight, which is fun to see.
Yeah, everybody got to play tonight, and everybody got to play quite a few minutes, so that was good. And even before, the game was a little out of hand there, I thought our bench played well again tonight. Pazzi got in a little foul trouble right away, and we didn't skip a beat. And I think it all goes back to the senior leadership that we have again. Maybe last year we would have crumbled a little bit if our leader went down like that, but this year we just, stayed the course and played well and had some young girls come off the bench. I thought Katie Zima came off the bench tonight and played really well. So hopefully, she keeps building like that. And Nellie Weaver and Kenley Syverson also played very well off the bench. Nellie was a force inside. I don't know how many rebounds she had. Seemed like a lot. But if she brings that every night, she's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Well, in the rebounding tonight, I mean, you guys really controlled the glass. Yeah. And, boy, I thought you guys played so aggressive on the glass tonight. It was really fun to watch.
It was, and that's something we talked about at halftime. We talked about the one positive I sure wanted to talk about at the half was how well we rebounded in that first half. I mean, we were boxing out, clearing out the lane, staying with our box out. Like I said, Climax-Fisher's got some good, quick athletes, and they go to the ball, and we I thought we did a great job of keeping them off the boards. And second half, I thought we did a little better job of getting out in transition off of those rebounds. So all in all, it was great effort, but like we told the girls, it's one game and a step in the right direction, but we got a long way to go.
And next week, I think, what do you have, Friday night with Lake Park Audubon? So you got a little practice time in there finally.
Yeah, we actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we have a doubleheader over in Ada on Thursday and then a doubleheader with Lake Park Audubon on Friday. So two very good teams. We're going to give them a little break here over the holiday, come back to work on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and hopefully, be ready to go on Thursday with Ada Borup, who's very big. They've got a couple girls well over 6 foot tall, I think, and obviously well coached and one of the powers in our conference. So we're going to have to play extremely extremely well to be able to play with them.
Fun night tonight here, John. I appreciate the comments here following the game. Congratulations on the win. We'll see you next week.
All right. Thank you, Sean.
You bet. It's John Syverson. He's the head coach of the Thunderbirds.
There's more at 104. Hillsborough, North Dakota has everything you need on your next road trip. Food, fuel, fun, and family-friendly activities. Stop by and fill up your tank or grab a bite to eat. Have a blast at Goose River Golf Club, the swimming pool, or one of our beautiful parks. There's even ice skating and cross-country skiing. Take in the sights or stay the night so you don't miss a thing. Experience Hillsborough and see why there's more at 104.
You know, parenting is hard for all of us. And so providing those little resources that we can share for those conversations that are hard to have and to kind of be that icebreaker for both professionals, parents, and then open up that conversation to the more engaging conversation that's needing to be had.
Being a parent myself, oftentimes it's the simple things that make a difference.
As a busy parent myself, just engaging with your kids, making it an everyday thing so they know that you're there, they can always come to you when those difficult situations do arise.
Contact Trail District Health Unit in Hillsborough for more information.
Sharing our heritage, sharing our future. Choosing the right bank for your financial needs can be challenging with the many choices available. Dakota Heritage Bank is pleased you're interested in knowing more about what they can do for you. The Dakota Heritage Bank community bank setting is a strong advantage they have over larger, less personal banks. Customers are more than account numbers, they are friends and neighbors. Working together, Dakota Heritage Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Welcome back to the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show. We're talking now with Guy Finstrom, the coach of the Climax-Fisher Knights. We're recording this before Tuesday night's season opener against Kitson County Central. Guy, how have practices been going for your team?
Yeah, they've been going very well. The girls' basketball IQ has really grown. We had a good summer, so the learning and the hustle has been a very happy thing for practice.
Now, you lost a few seniors from last year's team, right? I think four.
Yeah, four seniors. Yeah, Ava Larson, Ella Paulsrud, Cambry Solheim, and Hawley Reitmeyer. Yeah, four very good seniors. Very missed.
How are you looking to fill their spots in your lineup?
Well, we actually, we lost, Peyton Hoffman. She won't be playing this year.
Oh, she won't.
She hurt her knee this summer, and she had knee surgery. So we got 5 brand new starters. We have no starters back from last year.
Okay, I know it was hoped that Peyton could get through the basketball season, but if she couldn't.
It just didn't work out. She had surgery October 28th, so she's on the mend, but it takes quite a while for her to heal. And we got to try to replace her, but she's a very high caliber ball player. To replace her, you don't replace a Kara Kimbrough or a Smart Girl or McKeever. The talent is just too much for one person to come in and replace. But all the girls are doing a little bit extra in practice to, playing better defense. Some are scoring a little bit more. They all have to do those things for us to be successful. And they are doing it in practice so far. But we got to have some tests. We got to play some folks.
Yeah, and that first test with Kitson County Central for sure, and then home opener on Monday of next week, I believe it is, when you get Black Duck.
Yes, absolutely. The thing about it, we're going to learn what to work on pretty early. When we play Kitson County, they're favored to win this section. Mm-hmm. Then before Christmas, and then we play North Home Kellier. They're projected to win the east side, of Section 8. Okay. And then before Christmas, we play Park Christian, and they're projected to win Section 6. So we got 3 very tough games before Christmas, and we're gonna learn what we do right, and we're gonna learn what we do wrong, and we'll try to fix things better after that.
Who are you looking at as starters for this season?
Well, we got Oh, we're gonna, Lucy Paulsrud, she's gonna be she's a very good athlete. She'll be starting. Then you got Claire Erickson. She was a post player for us last year. She came off the bench hard, and so did Lucy. They came off the bench very well for us. And then you got Tegan Johnson. She'll be coming in and playing, starting tonight. Tomorrow. Tonight for us. Boy, my brain goes dead half the time. Oh, and then we have Peyton Schroeder. Yeah, she'll be starting tonight, and Cadence Corinta, and then we have Kinley Corinta that she comes in, and then we have another Hoffman, Brooklyn Hoffman, that will be coming in and playing a lot, and Anna Nesvig, who would come off the bench and play an awful lot too. So, but I have one senior, but and that's Kaya. And she's hurt right now. So, when she gets healthy, she'll be in, playing all the time too. So, that's what I'm looking at right now. We've had some injuries, so girls haven't been playing the whole time. So you can't get them fixed into this unit and that unit and stuff, but, it's part of the game. Injuries are part of the game, so we got to work through it.
You mentioned Kitson County Central as one of the better teams in the region or a favorite. Who are some other teams that you think will do well this year?
Well, in the West, you got Sacred Heart. They got about everybody back except for one, and they're very talented. I think Warren Alvarado is going to be tough. They got a lot of people back. And then you got BGMR that's going to be very good too. In the West, in the East, you got North Home Cali, you got Cass Lake. They're very tough too. In our conference, Foston's Foston. They're always going to be good. They play good defense.
Mm-hmm.
And Fertile-Bell, they were young last year, so they're going to be tough, for, Pine to Prairie action. And then you got Ada. They're going to be tough, but luckily for us, they're in a different section. They got the tallest team I've ever seen. But Mahnomen's got an awful lot better. Park Christian is, they got some players over there. It's going to be a lot of tough games, and that's good. You remember the tough games. You don't remember the easy ones.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, Guy Finstrom, coach of the Climax-Fisher Knights girls basketball team. Thanks very much for the time today, and I'll see you on Monday night when you have the home opener against Black Duck. Is that in Fisher or Climax?
I believe it's in Fisher. Is it Monday or Tuesday? I can't remember. It's the second, right?
Yeah.
Is that a Monday?
I believe it is.
I can't remember. But yeah, we played Black Duck, and they were very tough for us to play last year. So we got tough games coming up. So it's going to be fun.
Okay, it'll be interesting to see how the Knights do this year.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, and we'll continue with the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show in just a moment.
Welcome into our senior spotlight portion of the Coaches Show on YourLiveEvent.com. James Carter joined by Isaiah Wright, running back and defensive back for the Fertile-Beltrami Falcons. And Isaiah, not even a week removed from a state championship, adding it to your resume on already an illustrious career, over 6,000 yards total, and just numbers that jump off the page. Just how are you feeling now that the dust has kind of settled on your high school football career?
It's still emotional, but I don't know, me and my coach and teammates have still talked about that game. Like today, we just spent a whole hour just talking about the game and all the other games we've had. So just reliving the memories.
Awesome. And then you mentioned your head coach, Brian Nelson. How special was it to come up through his program? He's really a great guy, and just to learn from his tutelage. And it's really something that your entire team has really bought into.
Oh yeah, it's definitely special. He's a great guy, and not only does he care about you getting work done on the field, but he cares about you off the field as well, not only as a young man, but as a student as well.
The semifinal game was incredible. Just being there in the bank, you going off for 7 touchdowns. Were you counting each time you scored, or what's going through your mind when you're popping off huge runs like that? And I mean, you're finding the end zone 7 times in one game. Some people don't even find it 7 times in their entire career.
I wasn't thinking anything of it. I just score the touchdown, hand the ball to the ref, hope to get the 2-point. If I don't, get back on the field and keep working. So, to be honest, I realized I was scoring, but I wasn't keeping track of numbers. I just got into a rhythm and locked in and just kept playing until the clock hit 0.
You guys set a goal at the beginning of the season to win the state championship. You have been so close, your entire time there with the Falcons, and then to go undefeated and to finally get over the hump. What did it take out of you guys just mentally to get over that hump and to get a big victory like that?
Well, we've been on the team since about 2021, whenever they also made a championship appearance. So we got to see what that senior group was doing on and off the field. So we learned from what they were doing, and we took that as motivation to be, I guess, better and go harder at the weight room and work to be better people just overall. And I think all that really came together in that championship.
Just how close are you guys as teammates? I know the seniors, everyone's emotional because it's your last game together. Obviously, you accomplished the goal, but just how close was that team that you were on this year?
Well, we've always been together, I guess, from 5th grade football. So, it started even before that. We had this thing called the open lot, and we'd all go meet up in the open lot and we'd play football. And if we got bored of playing football, we'd go play basketball on a 7-foot rim and dunk on each other or whatever. So that senior group we were little boys when we were younger. So, and even the grade under us, we've always all been close playing sports, not in school, but out of school. And that really showed on the field, I feel.
Your running mate in the backfield, Jonah Harstad, everybody was rooting for him. Obviously, we talked about it. It's the devastating injury a season ago. Just how proud were you of him punching it in 2 times in that championship game? And I can just get the vibe from your team that everybody wanted that for him to get into the end zone in that big moment. Just talk about Jonah and what he means to you and to your community there.
Oh yeah, 100%. During that semifinal game when I scored 7 touchdowns, we were at the goal line, and they called the run to Jonah for the 8th touchdown. And as soon as he scored, everybody started yelling. They're like, that would have been for my 8th touchdown. But I was just happy that he got to score too, because throughout our high school career, we've always been pretty equal with touchdowns and scoring. So I was just happy he got a score too on that game. I didn't care about no record or anything, so it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me.
Awesome. And then how about your guys' quarterback this year? An offensive lineman the year before, and then now he's playing quarterback. You guys didn't ask him to throw too much, but when he had to throw it, he was very effective. Let's talk about Easton Petrie and kind of his leadership growth and what he brought to you guys this year.
Oh yeah, he's great. He put a lot of work in the offseason with Jared Brainerd. And a lot of people give him crap about how he came from a left guard last year and now he's playing quarterback. So, it's a fun, goofy relationship we have on our team, and it really shows on the field that how well we work together.
And then I heard that you guys as a team had the highest GPA in the state for 9-man. Just talk about the work that goes into the classroom, and then it kind of overcarries to the field because you guys are so disciplined on the field. It's something that's really important to you guys.
Well, this year they added this new rule where you can't have your phone in class, so we have to put them in the pouches. So I guess now everybody has to listen, and if you don't, and if they see your phone, you get a detention. So I guess you really have to listen. That's the only thing you can do, or else, you'll get a detention and can't go to practice. So that definitely helped this year, and I even feel that too myself because I'm not on my devices as much this year, and I'm paying attention a lot more. So I guess I got to give the school props for that, because that helped everybody a lot.
That's why it took so long for you to text me your email today. Huh?
Yeah.
Your phone
No,
was
I
put
don't
away.
have my notifications on my phone, so I don't go on it.
That's awesome. And then the big guys up front for you, Caleb Stoltman, Jack Leiser. I mean, you always give them credit. Every time that you're popping off huge runs, I mean, those big guys did a terrific job for you.
Oh yeah, they always do. To be honest, during practice, all we do is we get to run routes, and while we're running routes, we're waiting in line, watching the linemen go to work, and they're just always bringing a good attitude and always willing to work and make holes for us. So they make our job easy and make us look good as well.
What was the next day at school like after you guys won the state championship? You know, Monday morning you come in. Did they have a big celebration for you? What was it like?
Actually, it was that night whenever we got home, they had a big celebration. It's live or it was recorded on Facebook, but they had like a big spotlight. The crowd or the gym was full of people, and we had a bunch of fire trucks. And then they played I don't know, one of our students here made a big video about us, our highlights throughout the year, and then also our highlights from when we were in 5th grade football. So I don't know, that definitely touched the heart. And
yeah,
not gonna lie, I shed a couple tears, but I'm gonna miss it all.
Were you good in 5th grade?
Oh yeah. I honestly, my play style then is similar to how it is now. I mean, I'd always get through the line and bust outside. So I got a couple of clips I can show you.
Awesome. And then correct me if I'm wrong, but you told me that you were originally from North Carolina, correct? And you moved here in 2nd grade. What brought you to Fertile, and you're glad that you ended up here?
Well, what brought me here was my mom. She went to college, or she was going to college at UND. So then somehow my grandparents found a house here in Fertile. It's like a big old Victorian house, and they liked it. So then we ended up here. Me and my mom and my sister got a place. My grandparents had this big house, and then we went to school here, and now I'm gonna graduate here. So it's awesome. And it's definitely good that we moved here because the North Carolina area, my mom said that it's not the best to grow up in. So she said she's definitely glad that we ended up here and she was able to raise me here around the right people.
That's awesome. I don't believe in coincidences, so it really was meant to be. And then you bringing a state championship to the community there. I mean, you were put there for a reason, and you've done a terrific job. So I'm sure everybody is very proud of you. And then what's up next for Isaiah Wright? Because anyone who watches you on the football field knows that you're equipped to play this sport at the next level. I know that you committed to UND, you decommitted, your recruitment is still open. What would you say to college coaches who are looking for you, looking at you, and what's next for you? Where do you want to end up, you know, and what do you want your future to look like with the sport of football?
Well, I guess one thing I have to say to college coaches is I've played against Division I players, Division II players, and I still haven't been stopped. So I guess that's kind of my message there. I mean, watch the film, look at the numbers. I don't know what else to say to them. I mean, I'm trying to reach out and I get nothing back. Finally, I got set up for a visit at UMD. I know NDSU reached out last week, but I don't know. I don't know. If a school wants you, they want you. I mean, so hopefully I can play college football in the future, but I mean, I just keep going with God as a plan, and I'm going to follow it.
You love the game of football, don't you?
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're going to end up somewhere. When you have the talent like you have, they're going to find you, and the right situation is going to come up. So everybody is proud of you. Everybody sees the work that you've put in. It's been a pleasure covering you just the past couple of seasons, just, you know, getting the opportunity to go down to US Bank Stadium and broadcast a game where the Vikings play. You know, for me, that's like a dream come true too. So you guys have affected a lot of people around you. I know it's very easy to just focus on the football team aspect of it, but the people in the community, the people that cover you guys have really brought a lot of joy to a lot of people.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's one thing we always say is it's bigger than football and it's bigger than yourselves. I mean, we've impacted plenty of people, so we're just grateful for everybody being there along with the ride.
Awesome. Well, you're one of the most special players that I've seen
on the football field, and I'm rooting for you the rest of the way. That's Isaiah Wright, running back and defensive back, and now state champion for Fertile-Beltrami. Congratulations again, Isaiah, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the coverage this year.
That does it for the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show. If you missed any of our shows throughout the course of the season, simply go to our website, YourLiveEvent.com, or subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Again, the YourLiveEvent.com Coaches Show is presented to you by the Hillsborough Economic Development Corporation. Have a great Thanksgiving weekend. Join us in December for our next Coaches Show here on YourLiveEvent.com. I'm Chase Miller. Enjoy the rest of your night.